Go ahead and put that there. Get some music going. FA, what's going on, man? Stuart, how you doing, buddy? What is blocking? That was a magical night. 100,000 people dancing, all happy with life. And when I stepped into that stadium, I was going crazy dumb. We're still waiting up on this trade. I'm not in a trade yet. I was thinking about taking a long off the 0.5. But I'd rather just wait for a touch of the 2-to-1 Gone fan. I feel like it's much safer. The stop loss makes more sense. I feel like it would be a much better trade if I can wait for that. So I'm not gonna, get antsy and go into a trade immediately. Although we do have another Head and Shoulders that could be formed off of this. I'll go ahead and highlight that for you guys. Funk the Freak, what's going on, man? Lawrence, how you doing, buddy? Thanks, man, I appreciate it. AK, how you doing, buddy? So I'm looking at the 30-minute chart right now, just trying to make sure I get this entry. Now, a lot of you guys know that I love the 3-bounce setup on the RSI. So one example of that would be back here. Okay, you can see how we're getting lower lows on Bitcoin, but we're getting higher lows on the RSI, and around the 2nd to 3rd is when you should start DCAing longs. We're kind of seeing that same exact setup right now. Let me make sure Fish isn't getting into something under back. Oh, he's just playing with the blankets. He's good. Okay, so we're getting that same setup right now. We're getting lower lows, so I'll go ahead and highlight those. We got one right here and one right here. So we're getting lower lows but higher lows on the RSI alongside MCB. You can see that the stochastic is starting to bottom out, and we're starting to I wouldn't say just yet, but it is starting. We are starting to get a positive slope on money flow. It's starting to stagnate, so we still need to get a much more positive slope in order to say this is a confirmation. But we're going to be finding a bottom soon. I don't necessarily think it's going to be the 0.5, but maybe one step lower around that 2-to-1 negative would be preferable. So I'm trying to get a entry somewhere around 9,107. Stop loss right below, probably like a 1%, 2% stop loss. And I am trying to take that up to the 8-to-1 Gone fan. If not, it would be this resistance right here. Okay. You can see how we have this secondary resistance off a couple of these wicks. I just want to keep that in mind. So at least we'll be able to get up to that. So somewhere maybe around here to here. So it should come out to be at least a 6 or above. That's a pretty good trade for me. I would like to get an entry on that. That's just what I'm looking at. We do have a lot of bullish divergence kind of helping us with that. I just don't think it's going to pop off right now. If it does, I'll eat my words. And it's just going to be one of those situations where I wasn't able to get an entry, wasn't able to make profit off of it, that's all. Johnny K, what's going on, man? Curiosity. I don't know how to pronounce the rest of it. What's up, man? Well, you got your setup. Yep, got my setup. Poseidon, what's going on, man? What's up? Did you ever get into that long at the 2-to-1 positive? Yes, I did take a long there. I didn't have a lot of confidence in it, so it wasn't like a full swing trade, but it was a scalp trade. So we did get stopped out of that. Now we're just trying to find a new bottom. I thought it could hold. Looks like not. Now the reason why I wasn't quite sure if it would hold is because we still have downwards pressure from the breakout of the ascending triangle, or ascending wedge actually. So just because we broke out of the ascending triangle and we've had many tests to the upside, doesn't mean that we're still not trying to get to our target. So our target is this bottom pivot. So from where we broke out from. So somewhere around $8,838 is our target. Now it could find support before that. It could find support along the 4-to-1. It could find support along the 2-to-1. No matter how you look at this, but we are still fighting that downwards pressure from that breakout. So that's what's causing us to continue breaking these supports and continuing downwards, which is a good thing. It is a good thing that we are going downwards and completing this pattern to its entirety, allowing a lot of these higher end indicators to cool off. I did want to check on the daily. Daily is actually below the 50 right now. Yeah, it looks like this is going to be a consolidation. It doesn't look like it's going to be an immediate breakout to the upside. I do think this is going to consolidate for a couple months at least. And it does look like we're starting to form that cradle formation. If this does end up working the way it did before, that would be absolutely fantastic. It's actually looking very similar as well. We'll see. So we're looking for these two supports right here to hold, and then break through this top resistance alongside the 8-to-1 Gonfan, and we will be golden. Duck Dome, what's going on, man? Smoothie, what's up, man? JJ, what's going on? 300 Rivers, hi. What's up, guys? So we've got that negative slope going on the 12-hour. Fish, get out of there. Get out of there. You have water in your bowl. Okay. I don't think it's going to be a dump, because like I said, guys, we should not go below the 2-to-1 Gonfan. That's all there is to it. Now, if we do, it's going to be short city. I would be selling a lot of Bitcoin if we dump below the 2-to-1 Gonfan. Just an FYI, if we ever do get to that point. Now, by the 2-to-1 Gonfan, I'm talking about the macro 2-to-1 Gonfan. We should be able to hold that. It's been held since all the way back in January of 2019. That support has not been broken. So we'll see. We are coming up upon it. We might get another retest of it. If we do end up moving out towards that region, I would be taking a long off of it at first and holding it pretty much the entire time. That would be a very good long position. Even for past the 8-to-1 Gonfan, I would just be holding on to it. With the long entry at 9,107, would you look to long around 9,010 or higher, so you don't miss it? That is a good practice to do. It's just going to cause you to get a little bit less leverage, so you won't be able to make the most out of the trade. I mean, this is already above the Gonfan, so I would be looking to get in around 9,110, pretty much exactly. Daily D, what's going on, man? We've been streaming every single day. Well, except for weekends. But I appreciate it, man. Thanks for showing up. I'm doing absolutely fantastic today, JJ. I got some good sleep last night, which is a rarity for me. Woke up, had about 2 to 3 sessions, knocked them out of the park. I got one more after this, and one at 6 o'clock, and I think I'm done for the day. Charts are popping, yeah. Yeah, they are, man. So the 2-hour is starting to get towards the oversold region as well, which is a good sign. 1 hour. The only one that's starting to bullishly diverge, though, is the 30-minute. So I'll be looking at the 30-minute. Like I was saying, guys, you want to be DCAing longs between the second and third bounce. Now, the reason why I'm not doing it right now, I do want to get a lot more profit out of this trade, so I just want to get as close to the bottom as possible. Definitely on the third bounce, I'm going to start putting in most of my position. I probably put in about 4% and then leave 1% left over just in case it does dip down lower. I don't think it's going to be going lower than the 4-to-1 Gone fan. So if anything, it should not go below $8,813. So even if that does happen, it would not be good. I would still be stopped out, but I would be long in the 4-to-1 Gone fan after that, because that's even a better trade after that as well. Stop loss of 9,220 is still valid. My entry is 9,438. Are you in a long right now? All right, so your entry was $9,438 on a short or on a long? I just got a yes. I don't know which one. 9,220. Yeah, it should. Yeah, it should be long. Okay. You said you're on a 5x leverage. You should be around like 9 to 10x leverage, to be honest. Because if you're on 5x leverage, you're not making much off of this trade. Because this is a, at the lowest side of things, it's a 2. At the highest side of things, it's a 3. It's not a bad trade. I'm just saying, if you want to make more out of trading, you need to make sure that the trades you're taking are higher risk reward trades. And the way you do that is by getting better entries and better targets. So this one, like I said, it's not a bad trade. You're just not going to make the most that you possibly can. If you're taking 2s, 1s, 3s, when you win, you're not really making a difference on your portfolio. You're not setting yourself up for a lot of future loss. If you can make sure that every single trade you take is either above a 6 or a 7, or maybe even just a 5, you're making sure that you get more out of the trade and that your risk to reward potential is much higher, because you're going to be losing the same amount, but you're going to be making more. If you make trades, if you only take trades where you're going to make a significant amount but lose a little bit, your trading potential and the exponential growth on your account is going to be absolutely massive. So make sure that you're sizing up your trades and making sure that you're getting the most out of them and using the correct leverage. Because you using 5x leverage right here, that actually makes it even worse. It's not even making a 2, it's making like a 1 or even less. So definitely try to take profit is 11K. I don't think we're gonna break out to 11K. I mean, if it does happen, that would be a 7.61, but I just don't think it's a high likelihood. When you're taking these trades, don't bet on a breakout. Don't ever bet on a breakout. Bet on a rejection. Yes, can you get a breakout? Yes. But make sure you make them into separate trades. Take your profit here, and then if it does break out, enter another trade, set your stop loss below, and then take your profit up there. And if you did do that, you would make even more, actually, because what if you got your entry right here, put your stop loss at 220 again, then right here, that's a 7.44, and then right here, that's a 9.3, actually even a little bit higher. That's a 9.59. So you're going to be making more out of the trades if you make sure that you get the best entry, best stop loss, and you take your profit at a high likelihood of a rejection or a bounce. Yes, KPL. I'm going to be waiting until we touch the 2-to-1 negative and take a long off of that. So I'm looking at something like this. That's my setup that I'm looking for. I might put my stop loss just a little bit lower though. And we have this first resistance, which is a secondary, and then the main resistance right here. So either way, it's going to be either a 9 or a 10. So we'll see how it works out. I'm very excited for this one because this is, another big trade. 9 to a 10 could add a significant amount to our portfolio. If we do hit the 10, it could definitely be like $600, $700 for our $5,000 account. And I mean, that's almost 10% in one trade right there. So we're doing good. And like I was saying, guys, make sure that you guys are not trading off of emotion and confidence. A lot of people, they will use less leverage when they're less confident, and more leverage when they're more confident. You need to make sure that you're not doing it based off of emotions, but rather calculations. And that's the whole reason why we made this risk to reward ratio, in order to make sure that we get the most out of every single trade, but always lose the same amount. So in this trade right here, we have about a 1% stop loss. And my personal risk to reward ratio is 25% divided by chart stop loss equals leverage, and leverage times 5% of my portfolio, which is $250, would equal my contract size. So on this one, I would be using about 25x leverage. But if you were less confident and you used, 3x, 10x, you're not making this trade worthwhile taking. It's just you're throwing the risk to reward out of the window, and you're not doing it to the point where you can absolutely know how much you're going to make and how much is going to set you up for future losses. You have to be able to do this every single time. Make it into a habit. And as long as you know that you're going to lose the same amount, and if you are not comfortable with that amount, just crank it down. That's all. And just keep doing that over and over again. And I promise you, as long as you prioritize your trades to make sure that every single trade you take is high reward, low risk, you will be absolutely golden. Yeah, you might not win every single trade that you take, but the trades that you do win are monumental, and the trades that you lose are absolutely minuscule. So make sure that you're doing that, and you will have an awesome time trading. You just have to identify 2 points in order to short, in order to long, and just go back and forth, and be patient on the in-between. Don't get anxiety just because the price is stalling out for a little bit. That doesn't mean that you're not still on your way to your target. It just means that it's taking a little break, letting it cool down, trying to fight a buy wall or a sell wall. You have to be willing to wait. Just like over here, a lot of people started shorting. I got in a long at the very, very bottom. I held it. We had a bullish pattern. We had bullish indicators. I held that long, and I had my stop loss on the outside edge here. I was just moving my stop loss from down here along this bottom support as it went up. So if it did happen to break through, I would get out with a lot of profit, and I would be able to take that short entry if that did happen. But we ended up blasting off to the upside. I took my profit up here. We made about 126% on that trade. I'm not quite sure. Somewhere around there. It's Cypher Grand Wizard Overload. Kite, did you take profit on your last stream account trade? Price made it over 10K. Yes, I did take it. That was when I didn't have a PC or anything, so I couldn't keep constant tabs on it. So as soon as I saw like 126%, I just took my profit. I wasn't even worried about it, but we pretty much got the tippy top. I think I took profits somewhere around 99.50 or something. According to Crown, if we close a 12-hour below 9,500, we are more likely heading to the upper 8,000s. Do we see something similar on our chart? Yes. So the ascending wedge breakout should take us down to the 8,800s. So that's why I'm saying this down channel should take us down to the 8,800s eventually. And then after that, we should see some sort of major upside push, a swing high. So we do see that in our charts. How did you decide to scalp instead of swing at the 2-to-1 positive yesterday? I took a swing long as I thought major gone friends were supposed to be swings. So it is a major gone, but you have to look at the other things in play. So even if this was a swing trade, it wouldn't have been that beneficial to actually swing trade it. So at the most, it would have probably been like a 4.47 or even a 6. And I wasn't confident in that being a swing trade. Just because of what we talked about. The ascending wedge, even though we are far away from the actual breakout point, which was over here, does not mean that it's still not trying to get to its target. The best way I can kind of show you a long-term target ride, is what I call it, is over here, this descending triangle. Okay? Anywhere where it goes from top to bottom is a target. So right here, and right here. Okay, so we have 3 different targets. So we got to the first target, found support, got a bounce. Got a rejection, started moving down to the second target. Second target got hit, and then we start moving to the upside. We did have a third target, but we never got to it. So you don't have to get to every single target, but just know that it is downwards pressure. So that is what's happening with the ascending triangle right now, or the ascending wedge. It is still playing out, but we're just kind of, swing trading the in between, if you want to say that. And this also looks to be forming a handle to a cup and handle. Now, do I think it's going to immediately break to the upside as soon as it breaks this resistance here? No. I do think it's going to extend itself quite a bit, probably out until the end of April, beginning of May, somewhere around that region, and then finally break out to the upside. We want to be close as as close as possible to the 2-to-1 macro Gonfan for that liftoff, because it has been a launching pad every single time that we have hit it. So I do believe that we want to be at least a little bit closer to it before we make a major liftoff. That's going to allow a lot of these higher time frames to cool off, maybe get some bullish divergence. Who knows? We'll just have to see. Of course, I can link this chart for you. Let me clean it up a little bit, though.
First name Ryan, middle name Bandito. Yeah, sent to me ho. I been had a stilo. Hand on the wheel, rolling like an armadillo. Front to the back, yeah, I got the place. Chatty in a beamer, feeling like I'm Willie Beeman.
Okay.
Money super loud,
Oh, not a screenshot, just to share.
I guess I got a Aquafina, so pleased to meet you. I'm the dealer of the dope. I proceed to serve it up whether you feel it or you don't.
So a long is wrong right now. Not necessarily. Okay. This could be a good position for a long. Not gonna lie. Reason being is because we are sitting on the 0.5. 0.5 is a strong support. But we could do something very similar to like right here, where we break the 0.5, come down just a little bit, get a tap, and then move on to the upside off the 2-to-1 this time. But it is a good position just based on Fibonacci retracements and probability. So if you did want to take a long off of this, just know it could work out, it couldn't. It's just about playing the risk to reward. So if you do play this, you can put your stop loss right underneath, and your max potential would be somewhere around here to the 8-to-1 Gonfan. So that could be an 8.86 to even a 11, depending on where your stop loss is. I might move my stop loss just a little bit more down to maybe like 1%. Just give it some more breathing room just in case. But you would need a pretty solid entry on that 0.5 line in order to make the most out of that. Marco, how you doing, buddy? What's going on, man? Bitbird, what's going on, buddy? Never Settles, what's going on, man? What track you're listening to? Most of the time, I'm playing Ryan Corveo on my streams. He's a really good person. I like his music a lot. You think it will bounce off the 2-to-1 negative and not make it to the 0.382? It could make it to the 0.382. We'll just have to see. The way I'm playing it is if I do take a long off of this, I would put my stop loss below the 0.382. That's my plan going forward. Now, this is going to suck if it doesn't work out, though, just to be aware of that. Because if we do get stopped out here, there is still a much bigger trade here off the 4-to-1 Gonfan. So if we can get a long off the 4-to-1 Gonfan, that's going to pretty much give us a launching pad to probably somewhere around this region over here. So most likely be a 10 or 11. Still a pretty good trade. That'd still be like $700 on a $5,000 account. So I'm perfectly fine with that. Like I said, guys, it's not about winning every single trade. It's just about making sure that your winnings outshine your losses. So even if you do take a couple losses in a row, as long as you're focusing on making good trades, eventually once you win again, everything comes back into the positive. You're going to have drawdowns. If you can get used to that, understand why it happens, and not everything is going to work out in your favor, you will make absolute great trades. Because I know that we failed on a couple trades here. We got the long here. I got a short scalp here. I forget most of what happened over here, but we made a couple different mistakes up here. I think I got stopped out like 2 times. But then right here, we made that amazing trade, and it literally not like it made me forget about all these losses. I can't even remember what I lost, how much, because everything is in the positives again. What is the profit loss tool that you're using? Over here on the left side, right under the Elliott wave box, you'll see this little box right here. You can do short and long position, forecast, date range, date and price, bars, everything. Lawrence, you sound like one of those bots in the comment sections. With the happening not being priced in and moving towards, Mr. Santiago has been teaching me how to trade. It just reminded me of that. Is it possible for us to gon for swing trading on 15-minute charts? Yeah, you can, like, so the beauty of gons is you set them up on the higher time frames. And then you can go down to a 15-minute time frame as long as you understand which GON fans are which. So like, let's say right here, you can see the GON fan very clearly. So as long as you're waiting for that price action to get to it, it doesn't make a difference. You know what supports and what resistances you're taking longs and shorts off of. The time frame should not matter. Like when I made this, when I made the decision to take a long right here, I was on the 2-hour. I was not on a 5-minute. I was not on a 10-minute. I was on a 2-hour, and I just know that the 2-to-1 GON fan was a very strong support, so I took a long off of it. Nothing more, nothing less. I didn't have to use any indicators, anything like that. It was simply support and resistance. And those are the types of trades that make me the most money. Sharon, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Sal, hey, how you doing, buddy? Could you take a look at XRP? Of course. So XRP, we talked about last night, still getting that rejection at the 1-to-1 GON fan. Like I said, until we are above the 1-to-1 GON fan, we're not going to be putting in any major upside action. But here's the good news. As long as we do not fall below 21 cents, we have a major bullish divergence on the daily chart. We have a hidden bullish divergence. Now, a lot of people don't do this. A lot of people don't know you can do this. Whenever you have a green dot on Market Cipher B, so like right here, we have a green dot. Okay, you can connect that green dot to any other green dot, even if it's a top to a bottom or a bottom to a top. You can make bullish divergences crossing like this. So we have a lower low on momentum, or we will have a lower low on momentum. We haven't started really officially putting in a curvature on this wave. It's still wide open, but we will be putting in a lower low. And as long as we don't go below like 21 cents over here, so these 2 points right here and wherever this lands, we will be putting in a bullish divergence, which should help us actually break out to the upside here. So we'll see how that goes. As soon as we're above the 1-to-1, we should be putting in a major uptrend the next couple of weeks / months, all the way up to the 0.5, which would be around 75 cents. So I'm very excited for that. It's going to be a 200% pull for my account. And like I said, guys, I don't trade or leverage trade or margin trade the altcoins. There's just too much risk involved with it. And you're going to be making multiple hundreds of percents anyways. So I don't feel the need for it. So I put in quite a bit of money down here around 22 cents to 21 cents. And if we do hit that 0.5, I would be taking most of my profit and waiting for a break above the 0.5, but that would be a 259% pull. So that would be a very good thing for my account. Can you check power? If it's a shit coin, I'll tell you right now. Okay. Okay. A good price action. This is on the South Korean won. Is there anything that's I guess we'll check the Bitcoin comparative. Or we could do US dollar. We'll do US dollar.
you the baddest with your eyes low, tripping with a child at home, sitting while you styrofoam, sipping, coming home as strange men. Why he lie alone and listen, then wake up and go to work and deny his whole existence. Shit, where the dreams at? That's where my team's at.
I would assume that you're starting to build a ascending triangle, but you haven't found your second support yet. That's what it's looking like to me. So you have a horizontal resistance here, and you're trying to find a second bottom right here to create a ascending triangle. So I mean, no matter how you lay this, it's going to be the same. So we'll just say right here, for example, just going off of that little tiny lip that it left off on. So if this actually does break out to the upside, this would be your target. So we go ahead and take your target to the upside, and you would be looking at 32 cents. I don't know if this is measured in cents, because sometimes this stuff is weird, but that would be the approximation. Now let's go ahead and see what the 1.618 is. So the 1.618 is at 50 cents. So I would be assuming once you break this one, you're going to be moving to the 1.618, which is about 168% away. Now, if you can wait for a bottom support to be built right here and get a buy somewhere around this region, probably somewhere back down at the 0.5, to be honest. So maybe the 0.5 here would be a good point to go ahead and put in most of your position, and don't sell it unless it goes back below this whatever diagonal line gets created, because you do have to wait for that. If you can hold on to that to the 1.618, that could be a 547% pull. Not guaranteeing it, I'm just saying what I can see off of this chart. You just have to wait for that second to support or second bounce to create a good support line to be carried up on, and then break through that horizontal resistance, and you'll start trending up towards the 1.618. Krypton, what's going on, buddy? What do you think about Neo? Let me check Neo. Actually, Neo's in a good position right now. If we can go ahead and say that this is horizontal resistance, I mean, pretty much all these coins are looking the same exact way. So this one is extending a little bit longer, so I can't say that this is a definitive good buy at this point. But, I mean, you're looking at the same type of setup. You really are. A lot of these coins are looking like it. XRP, Monero, Ethereum already broke out. I believe Ethereum already broke out, if I'm not mistaken. We'll go ahead and bring that up. And this is probably going to be the last thing I check before I head off for the day. But we'll be back on tomorrow at 8 p.m. EST. And if any major price action is incurred, we'll go ahead and check it out. So look, we got the same exact thing on Ethereum. So we have the 0.5 as that horizontal resistance and the 8-to-1 Ganfan as that diagonal support. You can go ahead and take the 8-to-1 Ganfan to the 0.5, take it up, and you would be looking probably for a test of the 8-to-1 Ganfan. So once we break the 0.5 at about $341, we would be trying to move up towards the 8-to-1 Ganfan after that. As long as we can find support above the 0.5, we would be trying to trend upwards towards around 750, the 8-to-1 Ganfan. But let's go ahead and go back to Neo. Like I said, about 48 bucks would be my guess once you break this ascending triangle. I'm just looking at macro views for the altcoins because I'm not a day trader for altcoins. I'm long-term hold. I'm looking for hundreds of percents to make it worthwhile. So that's why when you guys ask me about these coins, I'm not giving you like the 2 hour, I'm not giving you the 1 hour. I'm looking at the big picture. What's the maximum potential of profit off of this in not the immediate term, but like the next couple of months, so to speak. Okay, do you know the significance of different GAN numbers? So the 8-to-1s, the outside edges are going to be your strongest supports and resistances, and then the 1-to-1 is your strongest support or resistance depending on what side you're on. That's it for GAN fans. Now you can define others as stronger supports and resistances through time and price action, but The fib retracements, your 0.5, 1.0, and 1.618 are your strongest supports and resistances, depending on what side you're on. Okay, before you go, can you go over your stop loss for BTC if it gets triggered long for, yeah, so if I do get into my position, let's see. So I would be looking to long around 9,182, somewhere in that region. And my stop loss would be below the 0.382. So stop loss would be around 8,990. And if that does not work out, I would probably be taking a long off the 4-to-1 Ganfan down here. So we'll see how that works out. It shouldn't happen by, tonight. Maybe tomorrow we'll be down in that region and we can talk about it. But all right, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for stopping in today. We're up to 82 viewers. Thank you very much. And yeah, we'll be on tomorrow talking about price action, talking about Bitcoin. And yeah, I'll start setting up, like an actual just like rhythm where we go from BTC, ETH, XRP. We'll check out EOS. We'll kind of just keep track on all the coins because I do want to kind of expand my group of people that I'm teaching to because, I was mostly a Bitcoin trader, but I do hold a couple different altcoins. I just don't trade them every single day, so I don't keep meticulous tabs on them. I keep the strongest points in line, but I know if I can expand that and there's some people that actually trade those coins, they might stop by the stream every once in a while to check out what my thoughts are. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. AK, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Do you have an education and past videos on how to use them? I do have a video called How to Set Up Your Ganfans. And in that video, it kind of teaches you how I look at them. There's no direct way to use them. You kind of just have to figure it out. But in that video, I kind of give you some guidelines. Lawrence, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Zekin, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Mr. Rado, Mr. Rado, what's up, man? How you doing, man? Thank you very much. Poseidon, you have a great day, man. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time. And I'm gonna go ahead and pick the song out before we go. We'll do Land of the Gray. I like Land of the Gray. JJ, have a good one, man. I appreciate it. Trading Junkie, no problem, man. I appreciate it. Never Settles, thank you very much, man. Yeah, man, every Tuesday and Thursday we'll be starting earlier streams. I couldn't do it last week just because I was super busy, but this week it will be, everything is set up to schedule. Drew, no problem, man. I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. All right, guys, I appreciate it. I'll see ya. Smoothie, appreciate it, man. I'm gonna go ahead and order some food, and I got a session coming up here in just a little bit. So, all right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. I appreciate it. I say that way too much, but I really do, guys. I really do. All right, guys. We'll go ahead and switch it to the stream ending screen. Intermission. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. Peace out.
Don't be scared of the change. Scared to be the new kid. Scared to be the hero. Some folks just don't want to see us shine, right? But we still here though. Land of the gray. From the 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 land of the gray. Yeah, they call us crazy. Yeah, they call us crazy. Shit, at least I hope. Cause if you ain't crazy, that means you normal. And if you normal, you lazy and broke. That's why I work like a peasant, hands been calloused. Think like a king, didn't grow up in no palace. Never fall off, yeah, I know how to balance. 85 be the grind, 15 be the talent. Oh, that's how I feel, that's really how I feel. Chase $1 million dreams with a $20 bill. Killing competition will be killing myself. Rest in peace, Cobain, I'ma do it for the gray, okay? Rainfall, I holler whenever that stop. But I'm still sliding through the city in a rag top. Keep it pushing by any means. You can serve it where you want, just don't cook it up by the fiends. You could work a day job, but don't tell them about the dream. Go ahead and speak your mind, just don't tell them what all it means. Keep the secrets safe, you can be afraid. Just don't be scared of the change. Scared to be the new kid, scared to be the hero. Some folks just don't wanna see us shine, right? But we still here though. Land of the gray, from the 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 land of the gray, 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 land of the gray. Let's start from scratch, one by one. Make them all believe, yeah, that's how you build a movement. And if the words I say don't make them move, then what I say gon' move them. Yeah, that's funny to the kids, but really what it is, no, I don't got time for nobody butting in. I work day and night just like Cuddy did. Motherfucker friend zone, I ain't with the buddy biz. These folks wanna travel the world before they gotta work for the rest of their life. But I've been working so I can go travel the world. I think I'm doing this right, so you can be afraid of the end of days. You can be afraid of the knives and the guns and everything else underneath that shining sun. Just don't be scared of the change. Scared to be the new kid, scared to be the hero. Some folks just don't wanna see us shine, right? But we still here though. Land of the gray, from the 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 land of the gray, 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 land of the gray. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So let the shit play. Yeah.